Hello and welcome to another thermal mods tutorial video. Today we're going through how to enable the disabled by default ores like aluminium, iridium and so on. So we'll enable them and make sure that they show up in JEI and with the spawn rates and so on. So where do we begin? Well, this is the pack I'll be using. It's a very basic and small pack. We have thermal foundation, expansion, all those that you might want. Then you will have these two mods, these dependencies. We need redstone flux, and I have added JEI and JER. So before we start, to make things smarter and more efficient, locate your instances, thermal test, I'm using Twitch for this. Go into config and then COFH and then world, because this is for world generation using thermal mods. To start with, check the config file. Let's see here. So by default we have false, false and false, and let's keep the first one false because we want to use the world generation, and we change this one to true because we want to replace a standard generation with thermal because I guess they rebalanced it. And third, we want to have the retroactively applied world generation as well. So that should also be true. So let's start with that. When you have that in place, we can actually start the game and create the world and then see how it looks. All right, let's start a world. Creative. So this should be brand new with everything default except for those two settings we just changed. Otherwise, everything is default from, where are we? Okay, generating world. Let's go to some open area over here. So what ores do we have? Let's start there because we should have some ores. Gold ore, iron, copper, lead, but we have aluminium here, we have iridium. Weren't they disabled? Well, since we have JER, we can actually do a scan and check. So if I press R, like in recipe, we can see that JER actually will show us that we have some percentage here. I don't know where these values come from, if they are default, but I'm not getting anything for our modded ores. So let's do that to begin with. In a mod pack, this might be done already, most probably. So let's run the command JR profile 100 chunks, I think it was, and then in all dimensions. And let's hope it doesn't crash because some people have issues with that. Seems to be working fine for us though. So let's reload the game and see how it looks, because we need to do that. We can also see that the file generated is located in config, JE resources and world gen. This is the one. And we can dig through this if we want to. I'd rather not. But we can do some interesting searches. We can search for ores. Here we have iron ore, lapis, emerald, diamond, gold, and so on. When we get to thermal foundation ores, we can see that we start to have 5, 2, 3, and 0, and so on. 1 as well. So 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. I think those are the only ones. And what do they mean? Well, according to the source code, I think this is what we have. So copper, tin, silver, lead, and nickel. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. And then the aluminium and the other ones are disabled, so they are not in the file. But we can restart the game and see how it looks. And let's go back into our world where we should have no aluminium, but we should have the other ones. So now we can check. These look they look a bit differently now, probably because we rescanned and we get we have other biome types or something. But we also have copper, tin, silver, lead, and nickel, but not the other ones. Okay, so that's the first step. Now we can actually see it. But remember, when you change the config, you need to redo the profiler. Otherwise, these values will not be correct. All right, so let's jump out and go into editing. We don't need resources anymore. We will come back here and delete the old file and let's see, we are in this folder, COFH, go into world, config is fine already, we don't need that, but we need this file, thermal foundation ores JSON. This file will tell you all about how the modded thermal ores will spawn or generate. We have copper up here, name, thermal foundation ore, type copper. So we're not using the ID 0, 1, and 2, and 3, and so on. So here we're using the name. We have a uniform distribution. We have a cluster size and count, and we have the height levels, retrogen, and what these mean, well, you can check for yourself. Here, I have the links in the description. So the generator could be in, well, let's see, feature format. You can really dig into this. Here it is, like the type of distribution type, uniform, Gaussian, surface, fractal, underwater, and so on. Cluster count, how many attempts to generate. This will basically, if you increase this, you will get more ores. And also, of course, if you have the cluster size larger, you will also get more. So these two. And then height, retrogen, also important to have if you want it to be, if you change anything and you want it to be included in a new world, then you need to change this to true. But this is default. So, and all right, dimension 0 is overworld, and then -1 and 1 are the end and nether in some order. But okay, let's locate aluminium. Here we have it. So enabled, false. We don't want that, we want it to be true. And I will not change anything else. So just save it, and we can exit that file. And it's time to restart the game. But note, again, we will not have the aluminium spawn in the just enough resources information, because we need to run the profiler again to get the aluminium. But now let's go into our world and see how it looks, if we can find anything. Well, it looks the same. As I said, we can't see it. If we just start to dig though, hey, how about that? Aluminium ore. It didn't take too long actually, and it's quite common. So let's run the profiler again for our 100 chunks and all. And then when we restart the game, we should be able to see it. And if I had dug down here before, then these would have been stone, because the config file actually told us that we can only replace, that's our copper, but we can only replace stone to get the copper, and the same thing for aluminium. So let's quit and restart quickly. And now when we go back into our world, let's see if we... Hey, here it is. Now we can see that aluminium spawns between 35 and 70 roughly, perhaps 65 and then some additional ones. So plenty of aluminium. We didn't have it before, even though I didn't dig down. That's pretty safe to say that we didn't have it. But it's not always this easy. So I'll do an example with an existing pack. Okay, so here's a pack I have done a lot of tutorial videos in, Absolute Thermal. So if you play that, it also has the JEI. So we have that here as well. And let's start it up and see how it looks. Now, while doing that, we can check our config files. So here's the instance in thermal. We have config COFH and then world and the config. So in this pack, by default, they have the OR generation replaced true and true for retroactively chunk generation. So that's all good. And let's take a look at the ORs file. Now, here's when it becomes fun, because this one is slightly different from the default one. We have copper, it looks very similar. They have another dimension for in the blacklist. I don't know what that is. But they don't have the enabled property. And next, copper, tin, silver, lead, nickel, copper ocean, and copper high. This one is also pretty slimmed down. So we don't even have that block in here. So you need to add that by yourself. It's not too hard though. Let's create a new world. New world, ORs, creative, create new world. Okay. So ORs. Copper, tin, silver, lead, nickel, platinum, iridium, and redstone. So where's the aluminium? It's not up here. That's another thing we need to take care of. We can actually see that we have a lot of aluminium stuff. Pulverized aluminium. What's the recipe for that? Well, aluminium ores. Where do we get it from? No idea. So we have another level of the trickiness here, but it's not too bad. And let's dig down first. So I didn't find any aluminium, so I think we should try to enable it this time and do retrogen so you can see it. So let's quit the game, go to the config, and we'll start with adding what we're missing. So to make it simple, I just copied this. I just made a new one and we want to add it after this copper high. We can add it wherever we want, of course. So you can use the reference file from the old pack if you want to. I just added aluminium, distribution, aluminium, or aluminum, sorry. Make sure you spell that correctly. And then we have 8, 8, 15. We can actually have it perhaps 30 to 55 or 65. Retrogen, true, and then the same. And I don't think we need to add enabled, because I think it's default, enabled by default. Yeah, enabled is default true. So we don't need to add that, but you can do it if you want to. Save that file and start the game again. And then we'll do the profiler maybe as a last thing. But we have the thing that we didn't see it in JEI, and because I can edit, I will show that quickly once we load it up. All right, we're back in here. Let's start up our world again, the new one that we just created. And let's see if we have some aluminium now when we add that to it. It would be so fun to have it here. Nope. So let's dig a bit more. Here we have aluminium. It just took me half way down, or perhaps even oh, we're at 40 now, so this is almost at the bottom. Sadly, we didn't get it. Oh, we did. Here, aluminium ore. So here we had only stone before, and now it's generated. So great, I got to show that as well. But now we have the final part here. Silver, copper, platinum, iridium. It won't show up. So, and if we check in here, not there either. So let's do a quick profiler, and then I'll fix the JEI, and then we are done. I guess if you have a higher number, you will get a more accurate result, of course. So we have mining world. Oh, I could actually see it there. We have, where did it go? Scan inspecting dimension 28885, hunting dimension. That's what we had in the file. So now we can quit game and we'll take a look at the JEI thing. I think we are done with the ore generation, so now we can just find the config, JEI, and then the blacklist file. And in here we can find the thermal foundation ore number 4. So let's comment that away, or just delete the line. This hashtag, this hash is, not hashtag, this hash will just comment out the row. So let's remove that, close it, and restart the game with a nice cut. All right, one final entry into this world where we should be able to see both the aluminium in JEI and also the spawn rate. And here we have the ore. We could see it here in the list. It should be down here. Iridium, platinum, nickel, aluminium. And clicking that with R will show us the spawn distribution or generation. All right, that's pretty much it. I think I covered everything you need to know. If I have additional information, you can find it in the video description. And hopefully you'll find this helpful. So thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.